Hello learners, welcome once again to our very good interactive lesson in English, that is turn taking. We said that this is the normal cyclic process where we go through conversation, we converse and mid-distance. We embrace this especially when we are doing group discussion, which is a very good method in identifying areas that are giving us challenges, where we come together, we put heads together, then we agree. And as you discover that in a group, we may be more than 2, 3, 4, or 5 members, we need to have a way of conversing so that whatever one is saying is able to be heard by the other. The previous lesson, we were able to identify ways in which you can know that your turn is over, and then you allow the next person to make their own contribution. So today, I would like us to look at violations in turn taking. Where do we go wrong when we are doing a discussion? And we are going to look at 5 well-known turn taking violations in conversation. And they are, one is interruptions. You are talking and someone just interrupts. So interruption is one of the ways of violations. So we're talking about violations of turn taking, and we've said we are going to look at 5 of them. The first one is interruption. Interruption, pardon. Then we have something else called overlaps. Then we have another one which is grabbing the floor. Then we have hugging. The floor. And finally we have silence. So these are some of the violations in turn taking. We are going to look at each at a time, where we are going to talk about them. So we are saying that interrupting is when you inhibit the speaker from finishing their sentences during their turn. So someone has given an opportunity to speak, then as they are speaking, you just inhibit the space. They have not finished speaking, so that one is a bad method. That is a bad conversation skill, and we are saying they are going to hinder. They are going to hinder a smooth turn taking. The other one is talking at the same time as the current speaker. That is what we are calling the overlaps. So this is interruptive overlap. However, cooperative overlap is encouraged, as it shows you are interested in the message. So sometimes there is some positive cooperative overlap which is encouraged. We are speaking and we want to hammer our point home, so all of us are speaking at the same time. It is positive in that it indicates that we are all interested in the message that is being spoken. Otherwise, sometimes it is very impolite when someone is speaking, then you just come in and you start speaking. We are calling that overlap. Then we are interrupting and then taking over the turn before it is offered to you. This is very bad. When I'm talking and the one who was talking, then you come in and then you take over. That one is what we are calling grabbing the floor. Then we have taking over the floor and ignoring other people attempt to take the floor. You want to dominate the discussion. That is wrong approach. Especially when we talk about group discussion, it is important that you give everybody their chance so that they can make a contribution, so that at the end of the day, everybody is contented in the discussion and they feel part of the discussion. Then there's a very bad hindrance to turn taking, which is remaining silence. You are quiet, people are contributing, and you are not even contributing in any way, you are just quiet. Know that that is wrong, because we may never know what is in your mind unless you help us by airing out. So it is encouraged, especially because we already looked at the roles of a group leader, it is important that you ensure that there is a smooth turn taking during the group discussion so that every person is involved in the presentation, so that everybody feel part of the group. We own the group. After all, you are working together for a common goal. And as the group leader, it is good to observe the turn taking smooth so that people are given opportunity, and then the members, it is up to them now to observe those things that we have talked about, where you are going to use specific phrases, where you are going to use gestures to indicate that you have finished what you are saying, to vary the tone. We already know when we raise the tone and when we fall it, so that we can give a cue. You can show that you are already done with what you are taking. And of course, you can use the noises which we talked about. When you want to add more points, when you want someone to go on, you give them those cues. So we have very many phrases which we can use, especially so that we can now have a smooth conversation. We have talked about turn taking. You speak, I speak, and we are able to know when you are finished talking, and when I finish talking, then we talk together. How can I interrupt? I have a burning issue. It is your turn to talk. How will I now interrupt without appearing impolite? Because remember, we said it is polite code of behavior. So how will I interrupt? We are saying there is something that we have talked about, cooperative overlap, whereby a person is presenting and then you now need to chip in or to bring out your message to show that you are also interested in what you are saying. So how do we now interrupt politely? So we say things like, before I forget. Maybe the person is speaking, there's a point he has aired out, and you want to interrupt before you forget the point. So you say, before I forget. You can also say that, I don't like to interrupt, but. You see, you are interrupting very politely. You can also say, I wouldn't usually interrupt, but. Remember, we are saying we have very good phrases which you can use so that you interrupt. You can also say, I'm afraid. I have to stop you there. I'm afraid. So if you already expressed the politeness there, I will let you finish in a minute, second, moment, ba, 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 ba. Then you say what you wanted to say there. So you have already stopped the person who was talking, but very politely, and they will not even mind. You could also use the phrase, may I interrupt? To accept the turn when offered. Sometimes now it is your turns. Can you add a point? That is all what. Anyone with another idea? You want people to chip in. You say, thanks. I won't take long. When you are given your turn, then you say, what I wanted to say is bra, bra, bra. Then you say what you really wanted to say. To stop other people from interrupting you during your turn, there are phrases which you use. You could say, I just have 1 minute, one more point to put across. So you don't want them to interrupt you because you have a point and you don't want to forget. I have just 1 more minute. To make this point, bra, bra, bra. I have really finished. I'm almost finishing. Before you have your way, then you are using those phrases to indicate that you don't want to be interrupted. I haven't quite finished my point yet, so you don't want someone to interrupt you. I know you are dying to jump in, but I need to make this clear. So you can use that. So you can offer other people a turn to speak by saying, right? So that way, you need them to clarify what they are saying. But that's enough from me. You can say that, then they know they now have to come in. Can you give me your thoughts on this? Then you are indicating that you need them to tell them. And you can also say, how about you? What do you think about the lesson? Was it enjoyable? Have you learned when to take your turn? We rest there for today. See you.